It would be a team that drew a lot of walks. They lead the league in walking. They lead the league in walk rate. As a matter of fact, they have the highest walk rate ever posted in Major League Baseball if they're able to sustain it for the entire season. 13.5% of their plate appearances end up in a free pass. So it does not make the most dynamic highlight package, but it sure does help you win games. That was the case yesterday as they worked 11 walks. They were also hit by a pitch on 2 different occasions. Talked a lot about it this year, the ability to get on base with the walk, grind out the at-bats, make opposing starting pitchers throw a lot of pitches, get them out in the middle innings and get into that soft underbelly of the bullpen. They've been very successful at doing that. 114 walks, paces Major League Baseball. Plate appearances with a full count. First in that regard with 147. It's led to a great on-base percentage and a very dynamic offense.
The Cubs yesterday went 2 for 17 with men in scoring position. So they scored 7 runs. They probably could have scored about 15, but because of all the traffic, even if you don't get a ton of hits in those situations, just 1 or 2 is all you really need.
Just opportunities. As long as you're getting that many base runners, sooner or later you're going to push guys across home plate.
So Luke mentioned the Chris Bryant injury. It's just a day-to-day thing. That's the good news. It's not a high ankle sprain. It's more toward the foot than up on the right leg. We think he did it maybe right here at second base, rounding the bag, and came out a couple of innings later.
Yeah, a little bit of a long stride into the base, and then as you watch him run between second and third, it looks to me like he's just short striding a little bit with that right leg. Maybe not, but give him credit for running hard even with the pain with the rolled ankle, and hopefully he will not miss much time.
He played on all-star teams in Little League with Aaron Blair, who's going to make his second Major League start today. So Chris certainly not happy he can't be in the lineup today, but you just have to be cautious early on. Here's the manager, Joe Madden.
We're going to leave him. We're not going to start him. You saw that. And asked I talked to PJ. Just keep him in the training room during the course of the beginning part of the game, and if in fact you think he can help us in the latter part, let us know. We just kind of rest him a little bit right now, and not really abuse it right now. That it should go away relatively fast. Always the thing with sprained ankles is to jam it somehow. That's the problem with an ankle. You could be feeling fine after maybe even a week or 2 weeks, and all of a sudden you just hit it wrong and you feel it. But the biggest concern is always that somebody's not able to hurt themselves any further. And if you could play with a soreness, which it would be, and you can, as long as there's no threat for a greater injury, then we would do that.
That's Joe Madden, and we'll talk some starting pitching here in the next few minutes. We'll hear from John Lester, who will go for the Cubs. Kelly Kroll has that interview next. A right-hander for the Braves make his second big league start. Left-hander John Lester will go for the Cubs. And now for our Coors Light game report, let's send it down to Kelly Kroll.
Thanks a lot, Lynn. Well, John Lester has said just how much more comfortable he feels in this second year, knowing the guys, they know how to make him tick, if you will, and he says these young guys keeping him young around this clubhouse. And for the first time in his career, he has a chance to open the season with his 5th straight quality start this afternoon. And I had a chance to catch up with him earlier this week and ask about the goals for this Cubs starting staff, among some other things.
Come in every year, my main 2 goals are, obviously making every start and throwing 200 innings. So I think if everybody kind of has that goal, then I think it's attainable. But we got a long ways to go, and it'd be something that'd be really cool to be a part of that staff that that makes every single start and takes the ball every 5 days. The last staff I think that I've heard about that has done that is the 2004 Red Sox. So obviously that was a pretty special group, and I feel like that that if we do that with how our offense and how our defense is and the way our bullpen is, I think that puts us in a really good position to win every single night.
That slide by Javier Baez, I know from where you were sitting in the dugout, you might not have been able to see it, but then you watch the replay. Do you have to chuckle sometimes at the athleticism and even the baseball IQ of some of these young guys when you see that kind of stuff happen?
Yeah, especially him. He really surprised me. You come into a new situation where guys have been around each other a long time. They already know each other and how they play and how they go about it. And you ask certain guys like, what do you got on Javi, or what do you got on Addy, or whatever. And everybody always talked about his baseball IQ and how good of a base runner he is and how good of a defensive player he is. And we all know with the strikeouts and the home runs and all that stuff, but to see it last year. It really is. His baseball IQ and the way he goes about playing defense and what he does on the base path, it's pretty unbelievable. And that trickles to other guys too. I think I've said it before with Jay-Hay. Jay-Hay, I think, is elevated, and Zoe too. Zoe's a great base runner. But I think that's elevated everybody else's game. These guys are far beyond where I ever thought of being when I was that age as far as the baseball IQ. I really don't, going back, I really don't think I matured a lot as a baseball player as far as the intelligence side of it until probably 2013. So that's 7 years of my career. So these guys are very blessed to be around a lot of these guys, and it'll definitely help them down the road.
Yeah, where they'll be in just 4 or 5 years, and maybe they'll help you out on Twitter too, and you can increase that IQ.
I'm not trying to get any better at that. I just try to keep up with everybody else.
John, thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking, guys.
Kelly, good stuff from John Lester. And Joe Maddon's talked about maybe 1,000 innings combined. The 5 starters, so far so good. They have been pretty efficient and have taken a lot of the pressure off the bullpen.
Bullpen has been well rested because of the work of this starting group, and that obviously bodes well for the future for that group out there in the pen. These guys have been outstanding so far. Composite 232 earned run average for the starters, second best in baseball, just behind the Washington Nationals.
Also seems like the veterans have bought in. Jake Arrieta went just 5 innings yesterday, but said he gets it, has got to save those bullets for later in the season. Time now for our national anthem.
At this time, please remain standing and join St. Pat's High School as they honor America with our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see? Baseball on CSN Chicago is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Ford, inviting you to check out their fuel-efficient lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Transparency. Low fares. Nothing to hide.
Been a great month of April. The Cubs off to a 16-5 start, their best 21-game start since 1907, the best 21-game start in the National League since the Giants in 2003. And let's hear from the skipper.
Well, I thought, with everything surrounding us this year, getting off to a good start was really important, and we have. I also thought that, of course, Pittsburgh and St. Louis would be there right there with us. And when you get behind two teams, it's really difficult to overtake them, season in progress. You expend a lot of energy mentally and physically to get back to that point. So this year, again, with the hoopla surrounding us coming into it, and then the other good teams in our division, I thought to get off to a good start would really help get us into the frame of mind that we needed to be to sustain it.
So now time for the Cubs' upcoming game schedule. It's brought to you by Travel Wisconsin. Plan your fun today at travelwisconsin.com. We will be in Wisconsin later this season, but we're going to be in Pennsylvania Monday through Wednesday before the Nationals come here. And JD, it'll be a rematch of the Cubs' wild card win at Pittsburgh last year. Cubs and Pirates, 6 o'clock Central here on CSN. Pirates have won 4 in a row. They were weathered out yesterday in Denver. So far early, it's been more of the offense than the pitching for them.
Yeah, pitching, they've got some issues. They got a couple big arms down on the farm that they might ultimately call up to bolster that starting rotation. But offensively, they're clicking along nicely. Andrew McCutchen, after a slow start, has gotten hot. Gregory Polanco, who I've identified as maybe one of the key guys in the NL Central this year, having a very nice year. Marte, they've got a really good group, and the Cubs' schedule, for the most part, here early on has been soft, but it's about to get a little bit tougher with the Pirates and then the Nationals.
First things first, the Cubs hosting the Atlanta Braves, first of 3 here this weekend, and we'll get it started next here on Comcast Sportsnet. Chicago Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. The good news, it's dry. It is cold once again, but we are set for Cubs baseball as they host the Atlanta Braves to kick off a 3-game weekend set. Len and JD with you and our Comcast Sportsnet crew as the Cubs have taken the field behind Left-hander John Lester. The Braves got to their team hotel after a night game in Boston around 3 o'clock this morning. Here's their Southwest starting lineup, and they did win last night. You see Nick Markakis had a big night. Daniel Castro's at short. Freddie Freeman plays first. Adonis Garcia is at third. Jeff Francoeur back with his original organization. Same goes for Tyler Flowers. Eric Ibar is in the mix now, coming over for Andrelton Simmons in that big deal with the Angels. Drew Stubbs in center. Aaron Blair, the pitcher, batting ninth.
We'll check in with the Cubs defensively, and we'll find an outfield of Soler, Fowler, and Hayward. Baez joins Russell on the left side of the infield. Zobrist and Rizzo second and first. David Ross back behind the plate. And the Alexis pursuing perfection starting pitcher for the Cubs this afternoon is the big lefty John Lester, off to a great start. 4 starts, 2-1 with a 198 earned run average. Quality work each and every time he's gone out. Hit total is down. League batting just 189 against him. Just about 5 strikeouts for every walk. 7 innings of 1-run ball last time against Cincinnati.
Umpires, that's C.B. Buckner back of the plate, Jim Reynolds, Manny Gonzalez, and the crew chief Fieldon Culbreth on the bases. Lights are on, overcast, a little foggy and hazy. Wind blowing in once again. Team with the best and worst records in baseball matching up. And the first pitch is hit out of play, foul by Nick Markakis. Cubs 16-5, Braves 5-17. JD, it has been a roller coaster for Atlanta. They lost 9 in a row to start the year, won 4 straight, lost 8 in a row before winning last night.
Yeah, it's a weird roller coaster, though, isn't it? Because normally when you have those big drop-offs, you get to do the real big climb, and they just had that a short, brief little rise between those 2 long losing streaks. But, you know, they were not expected to be good. They're in rebuild mode as they prepare to move into a new ballpark next year. Freddie Gonzalez signed a contract extension through this year with an option for next.
So Markakis strikes out. Good start for Lester. 44 degrees and feels colder than that because of a north wind at 10 miles an hour.
So the boys in the field will appreciate it if John works quickly here this afternoon. This Braves club failing on all fronts. Not scoring runs. The pitching's been bad, and they've been sloppy in the field too. It all adds up to a miserable start.
Castro takes a ball off the inside corner. He's playing short. They were expected to struggle this year. They've got a new ballpark opening in the Atlanta suburbs next season. And their farm system, according to Baseball America, ranking 29th all the way up to 3rd. So they've made some deals. The big one with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I mentioned the Andrelton Simmons trade with the Angels. So they're kind of ramping up to their new ballpark as Castro swings and misses 1 and 2.
Yeah, it really is a prudent strategy. You know, why be mediocre? Go ahead and go all in. Trade veterans, pick up prospects, position yourself for the draft. Sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah. 1-2 from Lester's in the dirt. John makes his offseason home in the Atlanta area. Dexter Fowler's from there. Jason Hayward, former Brave, from there. David Ross played with them. Eric Hinsky, the assistant hitting coach. There are a lot of connections to Atlanta on this Cubs team.
I played for the Alcoa Braves in Little League. That counts.
Sure.
Ooh. Me, you, and the assembled gathering here had to at Wrigley Field all oohed on that one, but CB vindicated by our replay. Challenge pitch here. Castro not a power guy, more of a slap hitter. Not be happy with that one. You know, and the challenge doesn't necessarily mean you just throw a four-seam fastball over the heart of the plate. Challenge means you throw the pitch you feel most comfortable with, that you can locate, throw it in the strike zone. With John, a lot of times that's a cutter. That's what he tried there. He just missed.
It's a good walk for a young hitter. He came in 0 for his last 20. Well, the most dangerous guy in their lineup, Freddie Freeman. The lack of home run power for the Braves has been well chronicled. They have hit 4 as a team. 36 major league players have at least 5. 62 major league players have hit at least 4. On Wednesday night at Fenway, Freeman snapped the Braves Atlanta record run of 15 in a row without one, and the runner goes, and he's going to be out. David Ross nails Daniel Castro. Wants his manager to take a look at the replay. It looked like he was out.
Well, the throw clearly ahead of him. Castro, you know, tried to take a little evasive action there at second base, and maybe that's what he's arguing. So a small lead and a bad break.
Got him on the chest. Bang, bang at second. It'll be a tough one to challenge and overturn. And Freddie Gonzalez will not.
I know the next layer of this whole challenge rule. We're going to allow managers only so many, hey, wait a second, per game.
Swing and a miss.
David Ross having a real nice year throwing base runners out.
Will reach the seats down the left field line. Probably will see Tim Fedorovich back at the plate tomorrow. Miguel Montero put on the DL yesterday. David Ross very upfront. He said, I am not an everyday guy at this point.
I was joking with Joe the other day. I said, so Ross is going to file a grievance with all this catching he's having to do.
Swing and a miss to end the inning. They did not put a ball in play. 2 strikeouts, a walk, and a caught stealing. Cubs coming up. The leadoff man is presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. Dexter Fowler gets a hit. Binny's Beverage Depot will donate $100 to the Greater Chicagoland Food Depository. Here's the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. We mentioned all the chances with runners in scoring position, 2 for 17, but a ton of walks. They played at 7 yesterday. Fowler, Hayward, Zobrist at the top. No Chris Bryant today, as we told you. Rizzo, Soler, and Baez in the middle. Russell, Ross, Lester will round it out.
Bravos defensively. They've struggled. They've committed 20 errors, second most in the league. Francoeur's got a big arm out there in left. Stubbs and Markakis center right. Garcia has really struggled. You can see the rest of the characters. Castro, Ibar, Freeman, and Flowers. And Alexis, starting pitcher for the Braves here. The rookie Aaron Blair making his second major league start.
And his contract selected from AAA Gwinnett on April 24th. He's from Las Vegas, and he played on some all-star teams as a kid, going way back to Little League with Chris Bryant.
Not an overpowering guy. Just 23 years of age, part of the Shelby Miller deal. Very good numbers last year, split between AA and AAA.
Well, he misses on 4 in a row to start it.
No doubt battling some nerves. Second major league start, first ever here at Wrigley Field. It's one of those venues that definitely gets your attention.
Jason Hayward 0 for 9 in the 2-game Brewers series after 10 for 25 walk stretch. And he looks at ball 1.
Blair at AAA this year made 3 starts, won them all, had a 1.42 ERA, and in his final AAA start before being called up, he went 7 no-hit innings with 10 strikeouts. Baseball America had him as the Braves' #3 prospect entering the season. MLB.com had him as the 54th best prospect in all of baseball.
Ibar gets the out at second with Castro covering. Braves have had some defensive issues. There were some reports about the surface, the playing surface at Turner Field early in the season. As I said, they're moving next year. Adonis Garcia over third. He's made a bunch of errors already. 7 in just 19 games. They lose Andrelton Simmons, and that changes everything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's as good a defender at any position in baseball. Ben Zobrist takes a strike on the outside corner.
The kid out there at short today, Castro, has a very good reputation. Quick feet, good hands, can play all over the infield. Yeah, Simmons about as good as there is. And Garcia not just struggling this year, but it's been an issue for him throughout his big league career.
1-1. They've got a couple of veteran catchers and Flowers and A.J. Pierzynski. A.J. just got his 2000th major league hit the other night. Pitch is outside, and it's 2-1. Quite a career for A.J. Pierzynski. 2,000 career hits and many more boos in opposing ballparks, especially this one And he loves playing the villain.
It's an impressive career, right? To play that position for as long as he has.
Take by Zobrist.
There you go. Fowler, Zobrist, Rizzo, all in the top 10 in the league in terms of walk rate. So Fowler and Zobrist have both walked already. Addison Russell is 12th in the league in walk rate. And that's the real encouraging thing. You know, we knew about Hayward's approach. We know Rizzo and Zobrist. Addie Russell, much more patient this year. The walks way up, the strikeouts way down.
So 2 on for Rizzo. And the pitch. Backdoor curve for a strike.
He'll go 89 to 93 with the fastball. You see, he likes to throw that two-seamer with run and a little sink. Curveball and a changeup.
Line shot foul into the Braves bullpen. Rizzo has knocked in 23 already. That's a career high for any calendar month. And he's only 1 RBI behind the major league leaders, Robinson Cano and Bryce Harper. Runners go, and a bouncer to first. They'll stay out of the double play as Freeman takes it to the bag. So second and third, 2 outs. It'll bring up Jorge Soler.
I like this matchup.
Yeah?
Yeah, you know, Blair doesn't have that sharp slider. And he's got a two-seamer that's going to kind of run in a little bit. And that's a pitch that Soler can do some damage on. Disregard that curveball, force him into the zone. Soler has scuffled here lately, just 2 out of his last 22.
Wide of third, foul. Soler will play this entire season at age 24. Still have to remind ourselves how young these kids are. Good swing, fouled it back.
Scoot him down a little bit. I don't think Blair's trying to elevate that two-seamer. Gotten away with it. Strong pull on the infield. There's not a whole lot of real estate between the third baseman Garcia and the shortstop Castro.
Two and two. Blair has his sign. The kick and the pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Is that the changeup?
That was a good changeup.
Really good one. 0-0 after an inning.
scouting report is that he has a very good changeup, and for a young pitcher, really knows how to use it and when to use it. I'm not sure he threw any in this inning prior to this one, so really mystifies Soler as he pulls that one out of his back pocket. That immediately is going to get the attention of the Cub hitters. That changeup was really well executed and came at a big time for him with 2 runners in scoring position.
So he works out of the jam, and it is John Lester back to work. And it is Adonis Garcia getting on base at a .356 clip. Braves have scored 74 runs. The Cubs' run differential, meaning outscoring their opponents by 74. Up the middle, and a base hit. That is the first hit of the ball game.
So yeah, the Cubs are plus 74. And the Braves are what? They've got to be about that far in arrears, don't they?
I'll tell you in a second. Cardinals second, but way down on the list. By the way, Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is proudly presented by State Farm. Here's Frenchie, Jeff Francoeur, and he muscles a fly ball into shallow left, and a basket grab, nicely done. Addison Russell for the out.
Overcast sky overhead that could make tracking that ball difficult. It's a breezy day, and you've got a freight train coming in from left field that you're keenly aware of as well. If you're Addison Russell, so a lot to think about. No problem for Russell.
Braves are minus 42. A Pythagorean 1-loss record based on the run differential, 7-15. So they've actually played beneath that. Here's Flowers, signed a 2-year deal as a free agent in December. 33rd round pick of the Braves in 05, traded to the White Sox prior to 2009.
17 losses, the most in any April in the Braves history.
For a while there, the Braves drafted so many guys from Atlanta and the state of Georgia. Francoeur. Flowers was a low pick, but from Roswell, Georgia. Jason Hayward from McDonough, south of Atlanta.
Ryan McCann.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a very fertile. It's a very fertile area. Youth programs there, churning out a lot of players.
And a pitch. Called strike 3. Third strikeout for Lester. Hey, Cub fans, let's go. Limited tickets are still available for tomorrow and Sunday against the Braves. Cubs will hit the road. 3-game series at Pittsburgh, and then right back here Thursday night. Long homestand starts against the Nationals. That'll be fun. Plan now. Tickets are going fast. Get your tickets at Cubs.com. Braves got swept, or rather the Nationals, as Eric Ibar.
Yeah, it's foul ball. I think David Ross making the case that that ball hit him all the while he pursued that one. CB didn't see it initially. So got a little help.
Great bunt, but he got a little help from himself. Switch hitting Ibar. The Nationals got swept at home by the Phillies.
Yeah, the Phillies are playing some pretty good ball. I think they shut him out twice in that series.
The Dodgers got swept at home in a 4-game series by the Miami Marlins. And after the game last night, D. Gordon suspended for 80 games for a positive PED test. That was a stunner. I woke up to that alert on my iPhone today. I couldn't believe what I saw. He won the batting title last year.
He claims it was an accidental, didn't know what he was taking. But what I read, the substance they found, there was no way you would not know you were taking that substance.
So he'll miss half the year, and if the Marlins were to make the postseason, he is not eligible to participate. I think that's a really good addendum to all the suspensions, because a couple of years ago you had guys coming back at the end of the year and then were allowed to play in the playoffs. Foul tip. 1-2. Ibar got off to a terribly slow start, but has been better lately.
And lifetime about a 270 batting average.
Runner goes, and Zobrist just able to slow it down as he was running to cover the bag. So that'll be a hit for Ibar, and they have runners at the corners with 2 outs for Drew Stubbs.
A little run and hit here, and Zobrist tries to slam on the brakes and recover. Just doesn't get planted quickly enough. Able to knock it down. Garcia, who was moving with the pitch, and Garcia is lucky that Ben didn't secure that ball right there, because he would have had a play on him at third base. But he thinks it's going to go through into right field cleanly.
Stubbs released by Texas near the end of spring training, and then quickly signed a minor league deal with the Braves and made their opening day roster. And a swing and a miss.
Stubbs has got a little pop. He's got good speed. He strikes out a lot. That's always what's kind of held him back.
Lester has never started a season with 5 consecutive quality starts. He's trying to do that for the first time. Here's his 1-1. 2 balls and a strike. The pitcher Blair is on deck. Ooh, 3-1.
Quite make it all the way back. See how patient Stubbs is here. You know, he's willing to accept his walk. I mean, this is a situation where, as an 8-hole hitter, you want to be willing to expand your zone a little bit to try to drive that run in with the pitcher on deck. He just took a 3-1 pitch right down the middle. I can't tell you there's some head shaking going on in the Braves dugout right now. I think Stubbs convinced himself he was being pitched around.
3-2. Ibar will be on the move with 2 outs. There he goes. Stubbs swings and misses. Well located fastball at 93. They strand 2, and we are still scoreless after an inning and a half. Is back, Chicago's most popular game show where fans test their sports trivia knowledge and try to win cold hard cash. The premiere of Beer Money, sponsored by Coors Light, Sunday night at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet.
I think we could get our hands on the home edition.
That would be great. I'm in.
Sit around on family game night, play a little Beer Money.
That would be a good game to maybe play on the plane heading to Pittsburgh. Here's Javier Baez in for Chris Bryant. Bryant day to day with a mild sprain of his right ankle. Swinging strike on Baez. Blair walked 2 in the first, but struck out Jorge Soler to end the threat. Baez did not pull the bat back. C.B. Buckner made that call. And it's 0-2.
Joe's not buying it.
Does not agree.
Javi's not buying it.
Yeah, there might have been a little punch at it. I have to agree with Mr. Buckner on that call. 1-2.
Yeah, I mean, that was it's so quick. It's just an instinct call for an umpire. It would be hard to argue either way. There's a change up again.
He's got kind of a funky motion, doesn't he?
Yeah, a big body guy. He reminds me a little bit of Eric Plunk. You may remember him from a few years ago. There's something with Joe Simpson about him from the Braves television team, and Joe said he reminds him a little bit of Brandon Webb, the sinker baller with the Diamondbacks.
Breaking ball foul.
Wide hip, strong legs. Looks like he really drives off that back leg. Turns it back a little bit, hides the ball, and allows him to keep his weight back over the rubber a little bit longer. Thinking he's going to get that changeup grip and then perhaps throw it or maybe come off it. There it is.
And he gets Baez.
Yeah, see, a lot of guys don't like to throw their changeup to the same side of batters because of fear that it's going to drift into their swing. So you could have them actually fooled, but if the ball stays in the zone, right-handed hitter could do some damage on that pitch. But clearly, this guy has confidence throwing that pitch to both right and left-handed hitters, and that's a pitch you don't often see.
Well, that's the other thing.
It's a new wrinkle. You don't normally see that many right on right or left on left changeups.
Addison Russell. Head in the count, 2-0.
So at first glance, the numbers for Russell don't really get your attention, hitting just 224. He's got a 346 on base percentage. Slugging number's not there for him yet, but going back to what I was talking about first inning, the plate discipline much better this year than last.
Deep drive to center and caught on the warning track. That's a home run in neutral conditions, but that's not the case today. Cubs offers special programs designed for your future Cub, from Kids Sundays at Wrigley Field to Clark's Crew and baseball summer camps throughout the Chicago area. Many ways to build lifelong Cubs memories with your kids. Visit Cubs.com/kids to learn all about our Cubs Kids offerings. Ball one on ex-Brave David Ross. And he pops it up. Foul territory. Garcia makes the catch. Cubs go quietly in the second. Yesterday, he did only go 5 innings. Gave up 1 run, and his former teammate Dan Herron at iThrow88. Hey Jake, saw you gave up a run. Hang in there, thinking of you. Good stuff. Snapped his streak of 52 2/3 consecutive scoreless innings at Wrigley Field, the longest scoreless streak in this ballpark's history, and the second longest streak in the modern era by a major league pitcher in his home park. The other guy did it in Chicago as well. Ray Herbert, 54 consecutive scoreless at Comiskey Park in the early 1960s. Pitcher Blair down 0-2. Nothing, third inning. Ball strike 3. Go get one now. 9 batters faced, 5 strikeouts for Lester. Nick Markakis coming off his 25th career 4-hit game.
Year 2 of a 4-year deal. Markakis signed with the Braves, and if he continues to perform like this, he may be an asset they can flip at the trade deadline.
Now, he signed a 4-year deal in December 2014. Had neck surgery as he lines to Baez, and that seemed to rob him of his home run power. He hit just 3 last year and has yet to homer this year. Two down.
Given the conditions and given this lineup, Lester can be very aggressive here with a lot of these hitters.
Astro walked and was caught stealing in the first inning. Takes a strike. It'll be a quick inning for Lester. He wasn't happy with that pitch, even though he gets it out. Not sure what he was aggravated about, but we'll check it out. Still 0-0. his first plate appearance today. Look at the missed location. That's what he was upset about.
I'm trying to go backdoor with that curveball. Tim McCarver said of his old teammate Steve Carlton, the Hall of Famer, that he doesn't pitch to the hitter, he pitches through the hitter. And he's playing an elevated game of catch, and that's exactly what you get with John Lester. Yeah, the hitter's there, and it's his job to get him out, but he's so engaged in the process. Even when he gets his man, he's upset that he didn't make his pitch.
Toward right, but moving to his left is Ibar.
So tomorrow, the Chicago Fire are back as they face off with Eastern Conference rival DC United. Coverage starts at 3:30 on CSN with the Spanish language simulcast available on CSN Plus.
Fowler will try to start a rally here with 1 out. Cubs without a hit. They have walked twice, including Dexter in the first inning. Fowler and his teammates and the manager joined a great group at the annual Bricks and Ivy Ball last night at Navy Pier. Cubs raised more than $1.6 million for charity. A sold-out crowd of over 800 guests. Among the popular auction items, sleepover at Wrigley Field. Ibar again. A Pilates lesson with Jake Arrieta. And one of the big highlights included the Cubs scholar this year, Yuritsa Escalante's speech about how much the Cubs scholar program means to her and other scholars.
That's always a highlight of that function.
Yeah.
Bring the kids up there, and one or two of them will address the crowd. She was dynamite.
Supports Cubs charities programs. And a record set over $1.6 million.
Somebody wrote a really big check to come up here and sing the stretch.
Yeah. All you had to do is ask. I'm sure Big Jim would have let you do it. You probably didn't have
to pony up.
It.
It's a good cause.
You act like you don't want to sing, but deep down you love it.
I'm good in the car. Pretty good in the car.
Off the plate inside. I thought John Lackey was the best dressed. You have John Lester.
I went with John Lester. Yeah.
But
they were both. They stood out because there was an island theme, and they were rocking. Lester had a little purple on. Lackey had kind of a melon-colored jacket.
White pants, white shoes, white belt. Pretty risky before Memorial Day, but it worked. Nothing after 3.
We're back here at Wrigley with your Coors Light in-game report. Jason Hayward taking his place back in right field. Of course, this is a unique series for him, having been drafted by the Braves in 2007. I asked him what that day was like, what he remembered, and he's like, well, I was 17. I remember it was the first year the draft was on television. So my mom and dad and I were sitting in the living room watching television, just crossing our fingers, hoping for good things, and sure enough, got the call from the Braves. And of course, it was just right down the road, guys. The field, he actually got a chance on that day to go watch the game and meet a couple of guys, and of course get acclimated with what would be his new home 3 years later.
And his major league debut was a booming success, unfortunately for the Cubs and Carlos Zambrano that day, as he hit a home run off Big Z in his first career plate appearance.
Made the All-Star game that year as a 20-year-old rookie, finished second in the Rookie of the Year voting. Buster Posey won the award.
3-0 on Freddie Freeman. Well, we mentioned all the Atlanta area guys the Braves had drafted. Quite a long stretch as Freeman cranks one to deep right, and it's going to go. 3-0 swing. And he's got his third home run of the year, more than half of the Braves total so far.
A slow start for Freeman, but he's been picking things up of late. 3 hits in the ball game last night in Boston. He gets the green light on 3-0, and boy, that's a great looking swing. You talk about going low to high with that swing.
So the Braves strike first. Forward a home run replay. And now it's Garcia. Russell will gobble it up. And that's the first out. So the other thing the Braves did recently, and Freddie Freeman, as he was at the plate, he's from California, so he's not an Atlanta native, but they signed all these guys to long-term deals, right? It was Freeman, Simmons, Kimbrel. Might have been another guy in
Tehran.
there. Julio Tehran. Yeah, they signed all these guys to these longer deals, and then last year, right around opening day, traded Kimbrel. Traded Justin Upton.
They basically pivoted. And they said, wait a minute, this isn't going to work. Let's go to plan B here.
They signed B.J. Upton, who's now Melvin Upton, to that long-term deal that did not work out. Yep. Two and one. Toward third, and it's foul.
Frank Core's never been a very patient hitter. He's dangerous because he has some power, but he swings and misses a lot. Something a guy like Lester should be able to exploit.
Core made his big league debut with the Braves 2005. Nice Friday afternoon audience on a cold spring day. Swing and a miss. He got him. Check out the EMC Legends Suite located on the Nuveen's Investment Suite level. Not only will your group enjoy a gourmet food and beverage package, they'll also get a pregame tour and a visit from a former Cub player during the game. You'll talk baseball, take photos, get autographs while hearing classic baseball stories. For more information, visit Cubs.com/EMC. Premier. Backdoor curve to Flowers for a strike. There's that Legends Suite. UNC Legends Suite. After the high one, 1-2.
Does most of his work down around the knees, but every now and then will cross seamer up in the zone. 7 1/3 shutout against the Braves last year in a start in Atlanta. Allowed just 2 hits and a walk.
Called strike 3. 7 for Lester through 4, but leadoff homer by Freeman puts the Braves on top.
Presented by Coors Light. It's Crosstown Pub and Grill in Naperville.
Cubs trail by 1. Aaron Blair in just his second big league start. He's been impressive here early on. 3 innings, has not allowed a hit. A little nervous in the first. He walked a couple, but did not give up a run.
So the Braves got Blair, Ender Inciarte, very talented outfielder from the Diamondbacks, and Dansby Swanson is probably the main piece in that deal from the Diamondbacks. That most observers thought that the Braves got the best of that deal. We'll see. Swanson off to a good start this year, hitting .333 in high A ball. And the first round pick of the Diamondbacks, and hard hitting shortstop out of Vanderbilt.
Garcia in on the grass at third, and a strike to Zobrist, 1-1.
They're 6'5", 230, and he takes a real long stride, doesn't he?
Yep. It's a strike. Zobrist had the game-winning hit yesterday. 2-run single in the opening inning. That was his first hit at Wrigley this season. How you define quality at bat, but I would have to say that quality at bat percentage, Ben Zobrist would probably rank in the top 10 in all of baseball, right? Just never gives up plate appearance ever.
Yeah, I think normally when you talk about a quality at bat, you think of a long at bat. You see a lot of pitches make the pitcher work. Sometimes that's the case. Many times that's the case, but sometimes too, going up there and ambushing a first pitch fastball. And that's the thing about Zobrist and other players like him. You don't want to become too predictable. You're patient, yes, but every now and then he'll jump you.
Freeman's got it.
This ultimately defines a quality at bat is if you're swinging at pitches that you can handle. Forcing the pitcher into the zone and ultimately either working a walk or hitting the ball hard.
Freeman and Rizzo are roughly the same age. Anthony will turn 27 on August 8th. Freeman on September 12th. And I remember comparing these two guys. Freeman's played about 150 more games in his career than Rizzo, so a bit of a head start. And a couple of years ago, you'd say, yeah, Freddie Freeman's been better. I think Anthony's passed him.
Yeah. Now the comparable for Rizzo is Votto.
Right. And because Freeman got there a little earlier, even though again they're the same age, he's got an 8-year $135 million deal. Rizzo's 7 years, 41. So that really illustrates the idea of service time, doesn't it? And how the game works.
Mm-hmm.
How you buy up arbitration years and the like and different comps. But if Rizzo did his deal today, it would look a lot different than the one he signed.
The trade-off is, when you're a young player and you jump on that security knowing that's the trade-off. That, yeah, if I turn out to be what I hope I can be, maybe I'm leaving some money on the table, but barring an injury, he's still going to have a lot of good baseball left in him at the end of this contract.
Freeman by 2017 will be a $20 million a year player. Line shot to left, caught by Francoeur. Here comes Jorge Soler.
Yeah, interesting as we look at this pitch sequence. Blair starts some curveball last time, elevated fastball, two of them, and I don't think he really wanted to make those pitches. There's the curveball, and Soler showing good patience, and all of a sudden he pulls a rabbit out of his hat and throws a dandy of a changeup. First time Soler saw it in that at bat, and maybe the first one he threw in that inning. And no doubt that changeup is now implanted into the brain of Soler.
Just to follow up the Freeman Rizzo conversation. Freeman not only got there a little earlier, he was really good right off the bat. Whereas Rizzo had his struggles in San Diego and got traded. So yeah, call him a late bloomer, but later than Freeman.
Yeah. And Freeman was an early bloomer.
Who wants it? It'll be Markakis in right to end the inning. The Cubs have been no hit through 4 by young Aaron Blair. 1-0 Braves. The high-speed action. As we get into the middle part of the game, John Lester is trailing, but he's been really good.
Yeah, everything really sharp here today. The fastball command down around the knees, good bite on the curveball. 7 punch-outs, 25 double-digit strikeout games in his career, and he's on his way to another one here this afternoon.
Just 7, 8, and 9. Eric Ibar smacks one foul past a former Cub and former big league manager, Bo Porter, Braves third base coach.
Former Iowa Hawkeye football player.
Yeah, he's a terrific college football player. The flip. They got him. How about that? Rizzo to Zobrist. And nobody got hurt.
No, yeah, that had a chance to get ugly there. Good footwork by Zobrist around the bag. Pretty play by Rizzo. Lester couldn't get there. Snares it with the backhand. Little shuffle and boo. They're looking in the Brave dugout. Wow, I don't think that's overturnable, do you? I mean, it's almost simultaneous.
Yeah, I would agree with you, and I think Freddie Gonzalez and his video guys agree.
So 3-4 on your scorecard. Put a little C next to the 4 to show that the second baseman is covering.
So it was a really good and well-placed bunt, but
yeah,
if you're the Braves and the scouting report is to bunt on Lester, the idea is to make him field it.
Yeah, a bunt not quite as artistic as, you know, that would be normally would be a great bunt. I think the goal here though would be to make sure that John handles.
We would like to welcome all our viewers watching on Dunkerton Telephone Company in Dunkerton, Iowa.
We've been to Dunkerton.
Or have I?
It's a small, friendly town in the heart of northeast Iowa.
Strikeout number 8.
Second time for Stubbs. He's up there with a couple guys on in the second. Recall he took that 3-1 fastball and then offered out another one that was a better pitch, a little bit down and away. A lot of red going on the scorecard today here for Lester. My goodness.
Facing Blair. He's working on a no-hitter through 4 on the mound. Struck out looking in the third. He has now retired 11 in a row since that walk of Zobrist in the first inning. Aaron Blair. Just saw Taylor Youngman got sent to AAA. Struggling right-hander for the Brewers.
We discussed that during his outing the other day, that might be the best thing for him. Go down there and try to regroup.
Rizzo will take it to the bag, and the Cubs will try to figure out Aaron Blair in the bottom of the 5th, trailing 1-0.
Cubs Insider at csnchicago.com, presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Serving the community for 38 years. Go to jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side.
Well, Aaron Blair, April 19th, pitching at AAA with Durham, 7 no-hit innings. I guess it was against Durham for Gwinnett.
Crash Davis went 0 for 3 that night.
Yeah, he had a perfect game in the 6th.
Originally drafted by the Astros out of high school, didn't sign. Went on to play collegiately at Marshall. So this is the second thundering herder we've seen here. Who was it just the other day?
Dan Straley.
Dan Straley.
Blair, the highest draft pick ever out of Marshall, 36th overall to the Diamondbacks. The 1-0 to Javi Baez. Misses wide. 2-0.
See, that could be on beer money. Name 2 pitchers currently active from Marshall University.
Before today, I would not have gotten that right. That is a fair ball, and the Cubs are on the hit board. Baez to second, and it's a leadoff double.
So the celebration has changed. Not sure what's going on there, but I don't feel completely comfortable watching it.
Nor trying to explain what we think it might be. Here's Addison Russell. Driven to left. Francoeur makes the grab as Baez went back to tag, but he'll have to hold.
Well, 2 pretty good swings by Russell here today, but tough day to really get a lot of carry. Pretty good drive to center first time, and looked like he got more of this one than the results would indicate.
Ross got a hold of one on the Waveland yesterday.
Didn't matter which way the wind was blowing on that one.
To get his career home run total up to 98, and he admits he really would like to get to 100 before he retires at the end of the season. And that was in Atlanta 2010 when Jason Hayward got to the big leagues.
Yeah, that was a venti. That was a big one. He's also capable of dropping down a bunt. Baez bouncing around out there at second base. If you're going to steal third, 1 out's the time to do it. But if you get caught stealing here and Ross makes the 3rd out, you've got Lester leading off the next inning. So that would be the downside. You have to some degree of confidence, a high degree of confidence that you could make it. He likes to push the envelope, though.
Base hit left field. Let's see if Baez will try to score. He's going to, and Francoeur dropped the ball. Jeff Francoeur has a terrific outfield arm, but he dropped the ball. And Baez is in. It's 1-1.
It's a production from the bottom of the order here. You see Gary Jones working his way down the line so he can read that one a little bit longer before giving Baez the green light. Francoeur comes up ready to throw. The only problem is he doesn't have a spheroid in his hand.
There will not be an error on that play. As Ross gets an RBI, knocking in Game tying run. There's Lester with Garcia ready to charge at third, and Lester doesn't show bunt, taking the pitch outside. We got all kinds of celebrations on the bases. You have the one where you point here and now, whatever you want to call it, Baez did, and then
must be maybe there's a celebration of the day. There's like a whiteboard in the clubhouse. Maybe they're going to have to start writing those down.
Guys in the even numbered slots in the order do this.
Okay, I'm going to go out, and after I get hit, I'm going to moonwalk and pretend I'm throwing a hand grenade. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's go with that.
2-0 on the pitcher.
You do that, and I'll do the Charleston. That'll be really cool. Was taken there. We saw Jake Arrieta swinging 3-0 yesterday.
Back to the pitcher. 1-6 to 3, and that will end the inning. But they tie it on the Ross RBI hit after Baez doubled, and we go to the 6th inning. It's 1-1.
In the Braves play, first pitch is at 1:20 to the first 10,000 early arriving fans will receive a Ron Santo replica statue presented by TransUnion. For ticket availability, visit Cubs.com.
Hey, happy 50th birthday to Annette. Don't have a last name, but
Funicello.
Annette, happy 50th. So 1-1. And it'll be Markakis, Castro, and Freeman. This is Nick Markakis' 83rd career plate appearance against John Lester. I don't see guys get that many shots at a pitcher these days. It goes back to their AL East days, Orioles and Red Sox. And that dipping liner will get in. Nice play by Soler. That keeps Markakis to 1 instead of 2. Markakis has been a doubles machine, 11 already this year. So a leadoff single.
Castro, good contact guy. So if Freddie Gonzalez wanted to play a little run and hit here, the count were right, this would be a good combination. Markakis not really a base stealer, hasn't tried one yet this year.
Castro shows bunt, pitches a called strike, bottom of the zone.
So either he was taking one or he just decided not to bunt it. But if you're up there to bunt, you're going to pitch in the zone, you ought to bunt it. Again, this is, you know, the John the Lester factor. Struggles throwing to the bases, makes the bunt a better play in this situation. Normally, you wouldn't want to be giving up outs at this stage of the ball game. Thinking maybe a little bunt and run or straight steal. So here's that hit and run count if Gonzalez wanted to start Markakis here. Trust Castro to put the ball in play. Highly unlikely the Cubs would pitch out again.
Runner goes, and it was a hit and run, and Castro very late swing.
Yeah, you know, we saw Castro running in the first inning. We saw Adonis Garcia moving with the pitch in the second. On both occasions, they took small leads, and it's really not the proper way. If you're going to try to run on John, if you don't take a real aggressive lead and challenge him to throw over, you're going to get thrown out. He is really quick to home plate, and Ross throws quite well. And we saw it with Castro.
Up, and Zobrist makes the catch. Make sure you follow In Game Live on CSNChicago.com. It is presented by State Farm. Freeman has struck out and homered. Fouls it back. Can I make a prediction? I am not one who makes many, right?
Mm-hmm.
Freddie Freeman will line out to the shortstop twice in this series.
Yeah, we see that a lot. Yeah, he's a line drive hitter.
Goes against the shift. Markakis will stop at second as Soler pounced on it. Yeah, I think Cubs have retired Freeman probably 10 or 12 times the last 3 or 4 years on that line out right up the middle, but this time I think he cracked his bat in the process.
A little flatter swing this time off the end of the bat. It was a bit of good fortune for him. But yeah, typically when you think of Freeman, he stays in the zone a long time. Usually he's among the league leaders in line drive percentage. This is an interesting little battle here. Garcia hits the ball on the ground a lot. That's precisely what John Lester is looking for. 6-4-3.
Well, the bad news for John is he's given up 2 hits here in the 6th inning. The good news is in both cases, any little misstep by Jorge Soler would have been extra bases, but he got to the ball pretty quickly both times, so that has kept the runners to first and second. In a tight, low-scoring ball game like this, that can matter a lot. There's the ground ball. Rizzo, Russell, Lester, inning over. Nice call, partner.
It was off in the direction, but I like the result.
We remain tied at 1-1 in the 6th.
Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card. Only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC.
One, bottom 6, strike 1 on Dexter Fowler. Chilly Friday afternoon here at the ballpark. Big crowd. Cubs looking for their 4th consecutive win. If they do win it, it would be their 7th straight against the Braves. Going back to last season. Fowler held. Call made by Fielden Culbreth.
Blair with that good changeup. Has put the Cubs hitters in a little bit of a predicament where they can't sit fastball.
Three and two.
Good situation here. So many times you see that 3-2 pitch fouled off because the hitter just can't sell out, especially with a guy with a good changeup. Wait back a little bit longer. You're a little tardy on the heater.
Try it again.
Good take.
Ball 4. Second time Fowler has walked to start an inning. Did it in the first as well.
That's a swing and miss for so many guys. That's a well-located changeup on 3-2, and Fowler recognized it early. Takes yet another free pass.
Hayward 0 for 2. Pitcher's strike to start this at bat. Some action in the Braves bullpen. Chris Withrow. Again, they had a night game at Fenway last night. Did not get into their team hotel until about 3 o'clock this morning, Chicago time. So you get in at 3, you might not actually get to sleep until 3:30, 4 o'clock. In my experience, and I think most people agree, is that you get through today on adrenaline. It's that day after the day after.
Yeah, sometimes that second day gets you. Blair may have flown ahead of the club. I'm guessing he did.
I think he did, yeah. Hayward pops it up, and this could be 2. Fowler is doubled off. 2 down.
I don't know what happened. It looked to me like he saw where that ball was, stopped, and then continued on a little bit before retreating. Maybe he just never picked it up, because it looked to me like he's tracking it here, and then he continues on towards second base. I think he read general direction, but didn't know how shallow this pop really was until too late.
So base is empty, 2 gone. Zobrist, strike 1.
Surprised Dexter didn't use a timeout there. If you could only get a base running mulligan. Can we do this again?
Right. That's like when they're playing the Capitals and Alex Ovechkin has a breakaway and you scream timeout. You got to wait till the play ends. Foul.
Most of the reports you read on Aaron Blair are along the lines of, well, yeah, he's a polished young pitcher, big league ready, good command of the off-speed stuff, knows how to pitch. Doesn't project as a top of the rotation guy because he doesn't throw 95 miles an hour. The time will tell.
He's been good through 6 today. And as Garcia makes the catch, off to the 7th. Cubs 1, Braves 1. Freeman with a 4th inning home run. David Ross a 5th inning RBI single. That's it so far. Jeff Francoeur leading off this 7th inning. One and one.
78 pitches for Big John so far today. He's been very efficient.
Leadoff single for Francoeur. Warren G, a musician and hip hop producer, his first 7th inning stretch appearance coming up. Bring up Tyler Flowers. Paid crowd today, 34,007. And something.
A little debris out there on the warning track.
Track out in left center. Pitch count in good shape for Lester. Nobody up in the Cubs bullpen.
Extra rest, of course, with the off day and then the rain out. Lester showing no ill effects. He's been very sharp.
Missed low.
He's hunting ground balls with that sinker. Flowers has struck out looking twice today. Normally, the guy's done that a couple times. He gets a little more aggressive in his next at bat, and it could prove to be beneficial for Lester if he swings at a pitch down on below the knees. I thought it was down. I wonder if he was a late bloomer.
One and one. That's a strike. This is John Lester, vintage John Lester, right? As you say, down, down, down.
Just not giving in. Bottom of the knees, shooting for corners, knows how to pitch to the situation. He's trying to get this ground ball. Flowers got to be more aggressive, you would think, after punching out twice looking.
He's kept that ball in front of him, keeping the runner right where he is. Away from Ross all the way down the third base line. I don't know if I've ever seen a pitch deflect maybe off the shin guard quite like that one did. So that'll be a wild pitch. It's 3-2 on the hitter, and Francoeur is at second.
Yeah, I think John just overcooks this one a little bit, and David not expecting it, not able to get out in front of it and block it, tries to pick it. Catchers like goaltenders try to control those rebounds, keep it close, keep it in front, and prevent the advance. But this time, Francoeur easily into second base, and there goes your double play chance.
A little choke up on the bat by Flowers. He takes ball 4 on a close one. 2-on, nobody out.
That's a gutsy take right there. That's a guy who pretty confident in his knowledge of the strike zone. Punched out twice looking, is down in the count throughout the AB, and lays off that backdoor curveball.
And the switch hitting Eric Ibar. Single in the second. Tried to bunt his way on in the 5th. And retired on a bang play at first.
Yeah, I think bunt's in order here too.
Yep.
Especially the way he's been scuffling.
This inning will likely get Blair out of the ball game as his spots due up in a couple after Stubbs, and they've got Alexi Ogando up in the bullpen.
In a perfect world, you'd like to have Baez stay home here a little bit and let the pitcher and the first baseman handle the bunt, but they're not going to do that. Baez is going to be more aggressive. Rizzo very aggressive.
Right back to Lester, and he can't get rid of it. Bases loaded.
He's got the yips, and he battles it. And I think he just decided, you know what? If it doesn't feel right, I'm just rather than throw it down the right field line, I'm just going to eat it.
Here comes Joe.
Yeah, and I think Joe's out there just to change the minds. Of, hey, it is what it is. This is the problem you're dealing with, but let's turn the page. This is all about a pep talk right here.
Ibar credited with a single. And it will be Drew Stubbs. So the Braves with their 7th hit and a big time threat.
Well, it's just a great example of what we talked about last time Ibar was up there, where he put down what looked like a good bunt last time, and this time bunting it right back to the mound, which is what you normally don't want to do, and it pays off for him.
So Stubbs, who has struck out twice. Cubs will try to turn 2 up the middle and give up the go-ahead run. They're trying to avoid a big inning. Corner men are in. Baez now is going to back up a couple of steps.
Yeah, I think if this is an inning later, and Joe's got the infield pulled in, but he's got 3 more at bats. He's willing to give 1 up here. And if you're John Lester, you're thinking punch out. Drew Stubbs he's struck out 50% of his at bats now this year. 2 today. So 36 ABs. He has struck out 18 times.
He's off the curve.
Beat him with a fastball first time. Stubbs caught looking last time up.
Here's the pitch outside. Jace Peterson, left-handed bat on deck. In fact, everybody on the bench left-handed swinger for the Braves. 2-2.
Ooh, could have been.
And it's full.
Just a little bit off that inside corner.
Big pitch coming up. The 3-2 is fouled.
Think about what's going through John's head. Not being able to make a play on that bunt. If you ever played golf and you struggle with the short game and you miss a little 2-foot putt, how do you not take that to the next tee? And the same thing for John. The mental anguish that goes along with that play, but you got to be able to turn the page. Obviously, he has proven capable of doing that for a long time now. He's a very successful major league pitcher.
Good battle here. And Stubbs has fought off a couple of 3-2 offerings already. The pitch. Swing and a miss. That's one.
First one in a while comes at a very big time, and it's a hat trick for Stubbs.
Now Jace Peterson announced, so that ends Aaron Blair's afternoon. He was really good. 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run in his second major league start. Lefty to lefty, and ball 1 outside.
I think if this were the 8th or 9th inning, Freddie Gonzalez might think about a bunt, even with the bases loaded, just to push across one more run.
Swing and a miss. And the pitch in the heart of the zone. Peterson plays second base and has also made 4 starts in left for Atlanta.
Braves woeful off the bench. We talked earlier about how they've struggled in just about every department, and the pinch hitters came into this game batting .063. They were 2 out of 32 in the pinch.
Time has been called. A ball got out of the Braves bullpen. Offering. Called strike 3. That's 2.
Oh, this is good theater. This is good stuff, man. After not handling the bunt, Madden comes out for a little pep talk, and the big lefty has responded. Beautiful pitch.
He's got 10 strikeouts. There's 1 foot out the door, but he's got to face Nick Markakis.
He's got a base hit and a line out today, and has seen a lot of John over the years. Can he finish the deal here in the 7th?
Lester at the 100 pitch mark, really grinding here in the 7th. The 1-0 is fouled off.
Markakis, a guy throughout his career, has hung in there pretty well against left-handed pitching. He'll take his walks.
Inside corner. Wow. Markakis hated that call, and Pitch Tracks didn't like it either. That is a potentially huge swing pitch in this at bat.
Yeah, with 2 strikes, it brings the crowd to their feet. See if Lester can punch his way out of the corner here in the top of the 7th.
Francoeur at third, Flowers at second, Ibar at first. The pitch. A little low. 2-2.
Good way. That little front door cutter is a good way to go with a guy who's looking to stay inside the ball. He's hit to left field twice today, or in that direction. A line out to third, then a base hit to left. And get him to chase, but not close enough to even get him started.
What a crowd here today, and they're on their feet. Runners will go. Down the line, Soler is over and no play.
Markakis up there facing Lester, so you got left on left, you got a full count. He's kind of in protect mode here. You could even cheat a little more towards the line, a little more towards the off field and the outfield. Not likely to pull unless he gets a mistake breaking ball.
Runners go. 3-2. Ground ball. First base. Rizzo. Inning over. Lester escapes. Time for the Mazda 7th inning stretch.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ballgame, music artist and producer Warren G.
Cubby fans, mount up! A 1, 2, 3, take me to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I never come back. Let me root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Let's get the run
Join the Cubs season ticket holder waiting list. Do it today. Claim your spot in our lineup. See how they're lined up there? For season tickets, it's easy. It's free to register. For details, visit Cubs.com/waiting list.
John Lester loading the bases with nobody out. And then he gets the next 3 guys. So we're still tied. And here's Alexi Ogando as the Cubs will bat in the last of the 7th.
That was good stuff. Gets the bunt, can't make a play. Madden goes out for the pep talk, and he delivers. Oh man, it was good.
Rizzo, Soler, and Baez.
Former Ranger, former Red Sox, Alexi Ogando.
1-0 on Anthony.
Mostly fastball slider from the right-hander. He'll go 93-94.
.6'4", 200 pounds. Redondo, 32 years old, from San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic. Pitch. Knee high fastball in the zone.
Did a lot of starting early in his career. Made 18 starts for the Rangers in 2013. Since then, all of his work has been out of the bullpen.
Former position player in the A's system. Came up originally as an outfielder.
Tip of the cap to Aaron Blair, the rookie, making his second major league start, first time ever here in this ballpark. He really performed.
Pitch way outside, he walked in. Here's Soler. He has struck out and flied to right. That's a strike. Yeah, he had quite a run there those 3 years in Texas. Starter, reliever, starter. Not quite sure what to do with him. Base hit to right. Rizzo to second. So now the Cubs threatening.
We talked about Soler's recent struggles coming into this game, and it's one of the best ways to solve it. Just shorten everything out. Try to be quick. Be willing to sacrifice a little power. Hit it on a line somewhere.
Bring up Baez. So it's like the Braves to playing a hockey game. They had the 5-on-3 and the Cubs were able to kill it off, and now they've got their own power play. Bases loaded, no outs. They did not score. Now the Cubs have 2 on with nobody out. Baez shows bunt. Takes the pitch low and outside.
Yeah, you know, Baez certainly capable of putting a bunt down for a base hit. If your goal is to make sure you move these runners along, then go ahead and square early, direct it down there towards Garcia at third base. We've already talked about his fielding issues, so you could end up with a little bonus too if he makes an errant throw.
Chris Bryant today. Baez getting the start at third. Once it foul, 1-1. Cubs depth has been tested here early with the Schwarber season-ending injury. Montero going to the disabled list. And now a day-to-day injury to Chris Bryant. Caesar getting his batting gloves on. the ground. Only going to get one, and that's Baez at first. So essentially plays like a sac bunt. We'll throw up again the righty along with Eric O'Flaherty. And does Freddie Gonzalez move his infield in? Do they walk Russell? They're going to walk Russell. With David Ross on deck. Ball 3. And here's Ross. And before he bats, veteran pitching coach Roger McDowell will jog out to the mound.
Yeah, important, obviously, situation here. And I think McDowell wants to give Ogando a little bit of the strategy here for David Ross. He's been swinging it well. Long home run yesterday. RBI single last time up. Likes to ambush that first pitch fastball, so don't be surprised to see Ogando start slider here after the conversation with McDowell.
Chris Bryant is now on deck. Here we go. David Ross swings. It's a ground ball to second. High bar. Castro. Freeman. And the inning comes to an end. Both teams get out of major jams in the 7th, and we're still tied at 1. History, April the 29th. 30 years ago, Roger Clemens struck out 20 while pitching for the Boston Red Sox. A year later, Andre Dawson had 5 hits, including hitting for the cycle. And in 2005, a game you and I both called, but for different teams, Greg Maddux and Roger Clemens matched up. In Houston, it was a first matchup of 300-game winners since 1987. And the Cubs won that game 3-2.
In the '87 game was Steve Carlton pitching for the Twins, and Don Sutton, who's just a couple of booths down here to our left, was pitching for the Angels.
So I think Joe was just making sure the lineup card was correct.
Beautiful job by John Lester here this afternoon.
So I assume Caesar is in the 9 spot.
Ooh. CB has had a fairly big zone today. Doesn't give Stroke that one bottom of the knee, so it's ball 1 instead of strike 1 to Castro.
David Ross letting CB know about it in no uncertain terms.
Yeah. Ross is a little amped up, I'm sure, after grounding into that double play.
Quick pitch, strike on a fastball.
John Lester has gone at least 7 innings in 4 of his 5 starts. Now the other one he went 6.
Ground ball, backhanded by Russell. Strong throw. 1 out. How do you get to Wrigley Field? Well, the Cubs suggest taking public transportation. Cubs offer a free bike check, now located near the Addison Red Line stop. For drivers, the Cubs provide free remote parking and shuttle service on night and weekend games. For information, visit the A to Z guide on Cubs.com. Strike called on Freeman. Two for 3, homer and a single. Coming off a 3-hit performance last night. So after a 2 for 25 start, he has really heated up. Jim Johnson warming.
John Lester today, 7 innings, 7 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts.
Swing and a miss, strike 3.
And backdoor slider with depth by Strope to get Freeman.
Strike to Garcia.
Strope on the attack here, wasting no time between pitches.
Braves closing with former Cub Arodys Vizcaíno, but you saw Jim Johnson, Jason Grilli, a couple of veteran right-handers with previous closing experience.
Yeah, and those are 2 other guys that if they're healthy and throwing the ball well, the Braves may be able to move for a prospect or 2.
Swing and a miss. Inning over. 2 strikeouts for Strope as we go to the bottom of the 8th in a 1-1 deadlock. here is Jim Johnson. 7 consecutive scoreless innings coming in.
Been working for the 12th time. He's been a busy man. A sink piece at 91.
Former Brave Tommy La Stella pinch hitting. So I think Joe was just reminding CB Buckner there was not a double switch when Caesar came in to play left along with the new pitcher Strope.
A good weapon to have off the bench. A .464 on base percentage for La Stella. On base 3 times yesterday. Double. A couple of walks, drove in a run.
Three and 1 on him. Hector Rondon getting loose in the Cubs bullpen. Fly ball to left. Francoeur is back on it to the warning track over his head. La Stella to second. And he's got a double against his former team.
Such a good approach at the plate. He's in a hitter's count, so he's going to go ahead and take a big swing on 3 and 1. He drives it with authority the other way. We've seen him do this a number of times now. Francoeur thought that ball was going to be knocked down a little bit by the wind, but it continued to carry, and it's a leadoff double in the bottom of the 8th of a tie ball game.
That could be a big hit. Here's Fowler. This is the kind of at bat, and they don't talk about it a ton, but getting that guy to third becomes way more important because of the game situation.
Right, yeah. The one-run strategy is much more in play when you get to this part of the ball game.
The bunt. Throw goes to third. They got him. I wouldn't be surprised if Joe asks for a review. He has his challenge, and that could be a big one. In fact, I don't know why he wouldn't unless it's obvious. Well, that's why he wouldn't, because he was for sure out. Well, risky play, but probably the right one for Johnson because.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where tie game, bottom of the 8th. There are times when you on a bunt play, you say you got to make sure you get an out, but in this situation, any chance to nail that lead runner, you're going to take it.
So now Fowler at first, and it's Hayward at the plate. I mean, it's always worth taking if it works, but even if it doesn't work, I think it was definitely worth it, as you said.
Johnson was coming set. Flowers coming up out of his crouch a little bit, getting into the ready position, anticipating Dexter trying to steal his base. Throw's been up a bunch today. Now Flaherty, the lefty, alongside. It's always the trade-off for a pitcher. You're trying to be quick to home plate. There's a tendency to rush the delivery, and oftentimes the result is a pitch either up out of the zone or up in a dangerous spot in the strike zone.
There goes Fowler, and Hayward checked his swing and fouled. foul sends Fowler back to first.
You wouldn't give a hitter a take sign on 2-0 to let a base runner try to steal a base. Especially a guy with extra base power.
Flowers knocking it down.
This whole Fowler, Flowers thing going on here.
On a cold day, I gotta make sure my mouth works. There he goes again. Ball 4. Bringing up Ben Zobrist.
Zobrist 6 out of 17 in his career against Jim Johnson, and 2 of those 6 hits long balls. Also 2 doubles and a triple. And he sees them pretty well.
1-1. Starter Blair at 6. He gave up just 2 hits and 1 run. Ogando, scoreless 7th, had to work around some traffic. John Lester for the Cubs, 7 innings, 7 hits, 1 run. He struck out 10 and escaped an enormous jam in the 7th. Bases loaded, no outs. Throws Strop, the scoreless top of the 8th. That is foul. Just foul. Call made by Jim Reynolds. Not subject to review because the call made in front of that base umpire.
Well, the call was made by a lot of people, but the call that counted was the one made by Jim Reynolds.
2-2. Line drive base hit. Fowler had to make sure it got through, so he's going to have to hold it third. That's the right maneuver for a base runner. Well, you don't want to get doubled off. So they're loaded up.
Dexter was doubled off earlier in the ball game. Remember, a little pop up into shallow right field. So he's going to make darn sure that this ball is down before he takes off. And so sharply hit, it got out there in a hurry.
Pitching change. Johnson is out. Looks like O'Flaherty is in to face Anthony Rizzo in a 1-1 tie. This call to the bullpen is presented by Midas Tire and Auto Service Experts. 31-year-old Eric O'Flaherty, back with the Braves. He was acquired from Pittsburgh on March 27th. Here we go. Rizzo takes ball one. Fastball off the outside corner. Bases loaded, 1 out, 1-1.
Yeah, O'Flaherty, lefty specialist of fastballs and sliders, not overpowering.
Kick and the pitch, it's a strike. Fowler, the go-ahead run at third. Hayward is at second. Zobrist at first. Good speed. And smarts on the bases for the Cubs. One, Rizzo, base hit center field. Fowler's in. Hayward will put on the brakes. It's 2-1. And he has just jumped into a tie for the major league lead with 24 knocked in.
Freddie Gonzalez pops right back out of that Brave dugout. He's going to make a pitching change, bring his right-hander on here to face Soler. Excuse me, it'll be Caesar.
Another pitching change. Cubs now lead for the first time today. Call to the pen, presented by Midas Tire and Auto Service Experts. Here's 27-year-old Chris Withrow, 6'3", 240.
Fastball slider. Got a little jump on the heater. 2.84 the ERA through 9 games for Withrow, who missed all of last year recovering from elbow surgery and was traded from the Dodgers to the Braves last May.
Cubs lead 2-1, bases loaded. Matt Caesar takes a slider for a strike. Now Hayward the runner at third, Zobrist at second, Rizzo at first. High fly ball into deep left. Prakor is back, he's at the wall! It's a grand slam! Matt Caesar breaks it wide open.
Telling you, it's in there. He has not had many chances, but he continues to impress when he does, and he's going to push for playing time the way he is performing. Wow, Talk about an ambush.
I loved his reaction.
He's going down the tunnel to really celebrate.
It's a curtain call as Baez steps in.
Yeah. Belly button high fastball. Short, compact, and powerful.
Six-1 here in the 8th.
And a lot of chances for both clubs in the late innings of this ball game, and finally Caesar delivers a big blow.
Three and oh, the count. 5th career home run for Matt. First career grand slam. Might be the first anybody on base. It is. His first 4 career homers were all solo shots. He just knocked in as many with that one as he did in his first 4 homers. Three and 2. And Baez.
It looks like Caesar and Listella are going to be quite a dynamic 1-2 punch off that bench.
Ball 4. Host your most valued clients and guests at Wrigley Field's largest luxury suite, the Fannie Mae Bleacher Suite. This climate-controlled, all-inclusive area provides guests with a unique view of the ballpark and the center field batter's eye. It is perfect for socializing and networking, with Wrigley Field serving as the backdrop. For more information and to purchase, visit Cubs.com/premier. One. Well, Rondon was ready, and it looked like it might be tied or maybe a Cubs 1-run lead. It is not a save situation any longer. He is still the only man up in the bullpen. So
he has ready. Might as well use it. Yeah, he's hot. He's ready. He hasn't had a lot of work. Forecast for tomorrow is not promising, so we'll run him out there.
Strop can grab a win. Look, Strop was great today. I mean, 13 pitches, 1, 2, 3, 2 strikeouts. But in an ideal world, you could have the official score determine who the most effective pitcher in this game was. John Lester struck out 10 and got out of that big jam. He gets an unfortunate no decision. Russell in the air to deep left. Francoeur this time will make the catch.
Yeah, different ball game if Lester doesn't get out of that mess. Bases loaded, nobody out. Well, that's why we've had this conversation a lot. It is a highly overrated statistic. John Lester easily could be part of that 5-0 club the way he's gone this year. He's allowed just 1 run in 4 of his 5 starts. Exactly 1 run in 4 of those 5 starts.
Well, David Ross feels better about things as he hit to an inning-ending 4-6-3 double play in the 7th. With 2 men on. High fly into right center. Stubbs makes the catch. Well, they call this place the friendly confines. But after that swing of the bat, it was Caesar's Palace, 6-1. Hefty home run. There's a lot of heft on this one.
That was hefty.
Have gotten such great production from their part-time players, including Matt Caesar, Javier Baez, Tommy LaStella. I guess the good news is Hector Rondon has been a part-time player too, right? Haven't used him a ton as Francoeur elevates to deep right. Playable for Hayward. One away. We have stretches later in the year where Hector works 4 or 5 in a week, but Cubs have been involved in so many blowouts.
Yeah, the ability to add on throughout the game, score early, but keep adding on and create some separation late so you can stay away from Strop and Rondon and still secure the win.
Flowers take strike 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. First game this year for the Cubs against the National League East. Going to be a victory. A bobble, but plenty of time. Rizzo to Rondon. Cubs win. That was quick. A 1-2-3 ninth inning for Hector Rondon. He might go throw in the bullpen.
That's the way we like it. No question about his availability for tomorrow as he quickly dispatches the Braves here in the top half of the ninth. Entertaining ball game today. What a job by Lester. He strikes out 10 in 7 innings, works out of that jam. Caesar provides the big blow. Ho hum, just another W.
6-pitch ninth for Rondon. Caesar adding that insurance with a grand slam. He's still smiling. Our Binny's toast of the game, presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. John Lester gets it for getting out of that 7.
Yeah, it was fun to watch after the inability to make the play on the bunt. Joe Madden out for the visit, gives him a little pep talk. He gets a couple of punch outs and the ground ball to Rizzo. Good stuff.
Binny's Beverage Depot is the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs. Kelly Kroll, take it away.
All right, guys. Well, your first career grand slam. Matt, tell me how that felt rounding the bases.
I couldn't put it into words how it felt. It was unbelievable. You know, it's great we got to win. You know, that's what we're here for. So we're just trying to win every day.
Well, your reaction was pretty priceless. The fist pump, and then did you wish maybe you'd slowed it down just a moment and really soaked that in? The fans, they wanted the curtain call, everything.
You know what? I didn't know it was going. I just was trying to get something to drive and put it in the air so we could score the get sack fly and score a guy on third base. So when I saw it was out, I was really excited.
Well, you've told me numerous times. He was wanting to do that.
I get him every day. I get him with cold water every day. So he told me I'm gonna get it tenfold. So it's an exciting thing to get it right now, though.
You deserve that one. Hey, listen, you always tell me no matter what, you want to make an impact when you come off the bench. But tell me how you prepare yourself for moments like that today.
I have to give a lot of credit to John Maley and Eric Kinski. We're in there, pretty much every inning, getting hits or taking BP and just getting prepared for the game, whether it's mentally or physically, and they get me right every day.
All right, Matt, congratulations. Enjoy this one.
Thank you.
Guys, a big week for him, throwing with Kurt Warner before the first pitch the other day, and now the grand slam.
Absolutely, Kelly. Thank you as the Cubs win their 4th in a row. So make sure you join us on Monday at 6 on CSN. Game 1 of a big series against the Pittsburgh Pirates from PNC. For JD and our entire crew, Kelly Kroll and Casper with your final score. Cubs 6, Braves 1. Stay tuned. Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs post-game live is next.